Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Selene. I think everybody knows that. I'll be the service leader this morning, and I am happy to welcome you, and I hope we all do feel welcome, to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of the Rappahannock, where we affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person and share values centered around love, equity, generosity, interdependence, justice, and pluralism. We gather in fellowship every Sunday morning from different backgrounds, lifestyles, spiritual beliefs, and experiences, and we know all are welcome. May our joining together be a blessing to each of us this morning. It's been a rough week, and we definitely need the blessing this morning. Yesterday, 2 days ago, we witnessed a horrific shooting in Minneapolis of a 37-year-old woman by an agent of our federal government. She was demonstrating love and concern for her neighbors. He walks around the car fully iced up with his camera on. She says, "I'm not mad at you, dude." She tries to get out of harm's way. He shoots her. We all know this story. He and his ICE squad then refused medical assistance from a neighboring physician until 15 minutes later when their own medics arrived. I'm guessing you are all as equally impacted as I am by this incident. Some with love in your heart still, some not so sanguine. Centuries ago, Rumi wrote, "Out beyond the ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there." As we light the chalice this morning, let this place be the beacon of light that brings us together in fellowship and serves as our ember of hope. Let this light shine on as we work to become that field. And then we will see if I can do this. From Mary Oliver, I love these words. "I was talking with my father about the owls, what they might have to say to us if only we listened. Today, as we gather to explore with Kristi our own Parliament of Owls, may we honor the wisdom that comes from understanding the other, listening deeply, and be reminded that successful collective and individual leaders are driven by the gift of listening and seeing clearly, acting wisely, and serving with care." And now I believe we have a story for all ages.
So this was going to be my joy, but I turned it into the story for all ages. For those of you that get the UA World magazine, you might have heard this, but there was a minister that went to a convention, and he didn't know that they were all supposed to say something about how they would open a service. And so he wrote something down really, really quick, but it was it's moved me, and it's become almost like my New Year's resolution. So it's called Beloved. So, "You are beloved of God. It is so easy to forget this. Our calling on this earth is to remember and remind each other with every move we make, every action, every breath. Our calling is to remember and remind each other without ceasing who we are and what and who and which is beloved."
And now I get to introduce Kristi. Kristi VanAudenhove is a member of UUFR and has been active to end sexual and intimate partner violence since she was a young pup. And she has been escaping to new realities through speculative fiction since she first learned to read. And we kind of know that from her talks. She always brings wonderful books into her talks. So thanks for sharing that, Kristi. Stories have fueled some brilliant and some not so brilliant ideas, as well as a good bit of courage and optimism along the way. She is also nurtured and inspired by the wonders of nature, here and now, along with a wide circle of beings who are both family and friends. The title of her talk this year is For the Birds. In 2017, a book entitled Emergent Strategy, Shaping Change, Changing Worlds by Adrienne Maree Brown describes changes she has observed in how people are shaping their lives and communities that offer hope for a healthier future. Using examples from nature and vast experiences with community organizing and community building, Brown writes about 6 emergent patterns that we might learn from. One of those patterns is described as interdependence and decentralization. As UUFR moves into 2026, the Board of Stewards and the Membership Committee are both testing their wings, an approach to leadership modeled after the beautiful murmurations of groups of birds in light. Guided by simple rules, starting murmurations can react to their environment as a group without a central leader, orchestrating their choices in any instant. Any part of the flock can transform the movement of the whole flock. Kristi will share more about the benefits and challenges of decentralized leadership. Then Kristi and I will talk a little bit about membership and get and your involvement as well. Kristi.
Good morning, everyone. My reading this morning is from some writing that was done by a colleague of mine and fellow student of the last few years, Omar Brownson. He's not famous yet, but keep an eye out. This is a poem titled Elastic. Elasticity is flexibility with strength at its core. To be ready for our peoples beyond skill, beyond tools, the stuff we are made of, what may they be? They aren't acquired, they exist covered over, forgotten. We each have stuffness. It whispers to you the who it is of who you are, grounded in your body of experience. Comfortableness with change is not ease or without wrenching. It is being at peace with struggle. We undertake it, we step into it. There's no in-betweenness, only obstruction or non-obstruction. The better part of who you are makes room for others. With clear eyes, open heart, full courage, double-edged swords wielded with art, both humble and proud, the frontier of wonderment. Humility clarifies who we need to be. It does not shrink, it is not ego stroked by power. Be aware of what you need to fill up, agency or healing. Work in progress, the nature of our spirit, the human element embodied in hand. Hold what is precious in your pocket. There it is not hidden. It is not obstructing your comfortableness with the grip of change. What we hold on to too tightly, we no longer move, but are moved by. Two big events mark the beginning of a new cycle at UUFR. We have a new budget that takes effect. And we begin a new governance year, often with new members joining the Board of Stewards. And this year, we welcome Charlene. First board meeting today. We're trying something new within the Board of Stewards this year. And who knows, it might just lead us to new ways of governing UUFR in the future. The position of president, as beloved as Janet has been in our president role, and also in the president role at the Haven. And Janet's going to continue to be a beloved member of the fellowship. As easy as she made it look, not one single board member aspired to take on that role and become the new president for 2026. In the past, and I know this because I have served on the Leadership Development Committee here, we might have cajoled or pressured or even made questionable promises like, if you'll just do it for a year, we'll find somebody. But we might have gotten someone into the role. Maybe because the times we're living in and the many different ways that our government is collapsing all around us, we chose a different path of governance. We chose to have faith in our ability to govern together as a group and to share in the leadership tasks and roles. To have a year without a president, and as I read that, I think in bigger ways that could be good. But with 7 people who are willing and able to share all of the tasks on the long list of presidential duties that Janet shared with us. We're asking that you not ask us a lot of questions about that quite yet. We're still imagining how this is going to work. We ask that you have faith that all of us on the Board of Stewards are committed to good stewardship of this fellowship, caring for all the members and ensuring that this unique faith community is present in our wider community now and for the future. This change is going to take some imagination and some experimentation. We know a lot about what's not working in government these days. Here and all around us, we can tell that story. We have much less experience and practice with telling the story of what a more collective, interdependent approach to leadership might look like. Fortunately, we're not alone in trying to figure this out or sensing the urgency of this moment for practicing new ways that can inform what comes after governance collapse. Nearly a decade ago, Adrienne Maree Brown published her book, Emergent Strategy. From the introduction, she says, "With our human gift of reasoning, we have tried to control or overcome the emergent processes that are our own nature, the processes of the planet we live on, and the universe we call home. The result is crisis at each scale we are aware of, from our deepest inner moral sensibilities to the collective scale of climate and planetary health, and even beyond to our species' relationship to time and space. The crisis is everywhere, massive, 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 and we are small. But emergence notices the way small actions and connections create complex systems, patterns that become ecosystems and societies. Emergence is our inheritance as part of the universe. It is how we change. Emergent strategy is how we intentionally change in ways that grow our capacity to embody the just and liberated worlds we long for. This notion of sharing leadership is embedded in one of the 6 elements that Brown describes as aspects of the natural world that can help us imagine more just and liberated ways of being. That element, as Celine shared, is interdependence and decentralization, and we see it all around us in nature when we look. A few of the examples that are offered in the book: trees that bind their roots underground, creating a single system that is strong, can withstand wind, can withstand surging waters. Mycelium that communicate vital survival information across plant species. The way that ants communicate with each other about where to find food to ensure that not just one ant or a couple of ants, but the entire community is fed. And then two of my favorite examples, the descriptions of murmurations of starlings and the V formations of Canadian geese. Starlings most often form their murmurations this time of year. How many folks have seen one in the last month or two or three? Yeah. Gathering as hundreds or even thousands of birds and moving through the air in an ever-shifting pattern that is simply amazing to watch. Their multitude of wings makes a beautiful murmuring sound. There's no single leader of a murmuration setting the direction of the group. Instead, each starling connects with a group of neighbors in the flock, and information, including directionality, can begin with any bird and pass through the flock quickly. This allows them to fly at speeds of up to 50 miles an hour, swirling and moving without any collisions. The well-known V formation of Canadian geese is another form of sharing leadership found in nature. It's thought that the V formation is vital to conserving energy over long migrations. They can migrate as far as 1,500 miles. And the formation also makes it easier for them to keep track of flock members and how they're doing. Because the goose at the front is working the hardest, the birds regularly rotate who is in that position, with geese in the back of the formation honking, possibly to offer encouragement or even appreciation to the goose in the lead. Along the way, if a goose gets sick or is injured, at least two other geese will join that goose on the ground, allowing them to eventually form their own small V should that sick goose recover. And the geese take turns with who is at the lead in that V formation. What would it take for humans to share leadership this way? Adrienne Maree Brown provides a roadmap. I'd love to see everyone at UUFR commit to these 4 practices I'm going to describe for the very best results, but I especially want to ask fellow board members to listen up. This could help us in our work in the year ahead, and maybe membership committee members too. Brown suggests that these 4 actions, practiced and repeated regularly, are the building blocks to successfully implementing a decentralized form of leadership and strengthening the interdependent web, something we talk about here within our UU community. The first practice, be seen. Be seen. Bring your true self into the space, your authentic self. Lower your defenses. Another author, also with the last name Brown, would describe this as making yourself vulnerable. Be transparent. Be seen. Be wrong. Accept that there may be more than one truth. Consider the possibility that you can be wrong. And be soft in your rightness, your defenses. Another author, also with the last name Brown, would describe this as making yourself vulnerable. Be transparent. Be seen. Be wrong. Accept that there may be more than one truth. Consider the possibility that you can be wrong. And be soft in your rightness. Some things in that moment. We regularly choose to do things that are not in our best interest. Looking toward the back of the room there, I would reference climbing ladders, lifting too much weight, eating decadent desserts. Share your contradictions, work toward inner alignment, and accept your multitudes. And fourth, ask for and receive what you need. Trust that over time and across relationships, the scales will balance. Offer yourself to tend to the authentic needs of others when you're needed, and accept love and care from those around you when you need it. Ask for and receive what you need. Don't be afraid to say, this goose is tired and I need to fall back. Be a goose who takes the lead for a while, and if we'll all be that goose, then any of us can lead with confidence that when we get tired, there'll be a goose ready to step up and we can fall back. Returning to Omar's words from today's reading, makes room for others. And be aware of what you need to fill up. Is it agency or is it healing? In the year ahead, be patient with those of us on the Board of Stewards. Trust our commitment to doing a good job on behalf of the whole. To be seen, to be wrong, to accept our inner multitudes, to ask for and accept what we need. Ask any one of us when you have a question or an idea, and when you can, ask all of us. Coming to a board meeting, they're open, is a great way to do that. Sending an email is a great way to do that. Eddie is going to be coordinating the group, but is not responsible for everything or for having all the answers, right? Sometimes we may need a little time to come together and come up with them collectively. And when we've actually done that, all of us will know and can share. We've divided that long list of tasks up. We're all taking different pieces of it. We'll share more and more about that as the year goes along. As I was writing this, I was a bit distracted. I work at a library table that's positioned by a window in our closet. So that Ruth doesn't have to witness working going on in the house now that she's retired. It's a nice closet, and it's a nice table, and it's a beautiful view. I'm looking out on the water. She's put up a bird feeder and a squirrel feeder, and so there's always entertainment out that window. And as I sat there writing this, it was early in the morning, and there was a heron balanced on the jetty out in front of me. And I was thinking about all the different bird lessons that have led me to thinking about how we organize ourselves differently. And eventually that heron moved. Like every few minutes I was looking up. And he was very slowly and so gracefully. I mean, it was just beautiful. Wading out into the water, looking for breakfast, finding it. And then he came back in and he walked down the beach toward where my window is. And he got to our neighbor's pier. And he took a minute and he turned and he just like, so slowly and so deliberately took these huge strides out on this lake. He just clearly felt very free and strong, striding out on that pier. It looked like he was searching for something. And then he just stopped, lifted a leg, tucked in his head, and he was there for the next 20 minutes while I was reading. It was beautiful. Turned out to be where he wanted to take a nap. Balance and grace and knowing when to walk boldly and when to slow down and when to rest. Birds really do have many lessons for all of us if we take the time to look and to see and to learn. I think I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to invite Selene, because the membership committee is also thinking about doing things a little different. I'm going to let her talk about that.